Hello, my name is Stacy Gailey and I'm the head of school at American Pacific International School in Chiang Mai, Thailand.
I'm Luis Ramirez. I'm the principal at the main campus.
First question, why are IB schools' tuition fee more expensive?
That's a good question. IB school fees are more expensive because the cost to be a member of the IB costs more money, and there are requirements for us to train our teachers. So annually, teachers have to be trained regularly in the IB, in the workshops, and so to help cover those extra expenses. So on top of normal teacher learning expenses, like for professional development, the IB expects us to train our teachers in the IB, which those costs are a little bit higher than a regular tuition fee.
Question 2. Describe 3 differences between IB and other education systems.
The first one is the view of the whole student. It's not just a student academically, but also a student who has certain values of international mindedness. I think that would be the main one. Then also the academic rigor, especially students leaving from the diploma program, graduating from the diploma program, are really at the top level, and all the studies around the world show that academic rigor that the IB gives is by far by itself. And the third reason why a student from the IB is different is service. They're always involved in the community, giving back to the local community, also around the town or the cities where they are, the countries where they are, so they have a spirit of service as well.
Sure, if I could add a couple more to that, right? The thing that sets the IB apart from other like national curriculums is the inquiry process, and the students are expected to kind of dig deeper into the knowledge part of things. It's not just rote memorization, but it's the students who actually inquire and want to learn more about those topics. And also in the IB, we teach kids how to learn, right? It's not like a national curriculum where it's more about here are the facts, memorize the facts. But in the IB, it's about learning how to learn, so they understand concepts in a more deep.
Number 3, what are the advantages of graduates of IB over other education systems?
It goes back to that earlier question, right? That they've learned how to learn. And so when DP graduates leave us and go into university, that first year of university is hard for normal, just a graduate program. Lots of dropping out, lots of this is too hard. They don't understand how to adjust to curriculum and write papers, but DP students have strong skills in learning. And so their transition to university is much easier for them. Our graduates come back and say how much easier university was for them than their peers because they had that service mind and the learning, and they understood content better.
Yes, all of that. They usually report back that they're ready to write. They're ready for the amount of work they have to do. So so not that the first year is easy, but it's a lot more manageable. They know how to manage time too, which is important.
And question 4, if parents are going to choose IB schools for their children, what suggestions or advices do you have for them?
You have to ask questions, right? Asking those questions, does that school have accreditation, right? Do they have the IB certification so that your children can be accepted into universities around the world? I think that's the first important part. But,
yeah, I think also asking about the teachers, right? Trying to meet the teachers maybe, asking questions about the actual campus, what subjects are being offered, right? Because you can also look at, by doing the 2-year diploma program, getting ready for a specific path in university. So you'd want to go to an IB school that offers the sciences that you would want, the level of math that you would want, or the other humanities like business, economics, psychology. You'd have to look at the subject. So I would tell parents, meet teachers, ask questions, find out about the academic program.
Yeah, that's our suggestion for them too.
Yeah.
From a head of school's perspective is we want our parents to be open-minded, right? I think education is a hard thing. We've all gone through schools, but our experiences at school was very different than your children's experience in an IB program. And so being open-minded to that, it's different than the experience that you may have had as a parent, and so being open to learning those parts about being a parent of an IB student.
Yeah.
We always told the parents, you need to understand what IB is. Then you can help your children with the schools, to help them at the academic and behavior and everything. That's one. How to evaluate if an IB school are excellent or not?
I think you look at a few things. You would look at how long it's been an IB school. At APIS, we've been an IB school now for over a decade with our primary years program. Our middle years program now is about 4 years old. So we've got a good process with the lower years. So we're not just offering students a diploma program education, we're offering a full IB education and experience. The experience means that we've been through processes of accreditation with the IB, and now that we are a diploma program school, parents will be able to, as soon as next year, be able to look at our results. So I would say, parents, look at how long a school has been a full IB school. You're looking for a school that has various programs and a good process for your children. And then when results are available, look at results.
What kind of students are suitable for IB schools?
Yeah, I think for IB schools, we'd like to see students who are obviously open-minded, right? That's a big one. That they're not opposed to hard work. They have to want to work hard. There's lots of different components of being in an IB school, of service and action and academics, right? And those parts. So a student who wants to be varied in their life and differentiate and be able to be willing to participate in all of those various activities.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. They want to be IB students. They're focused on where they want to be in the future. They've looked at the IB model and said, I want to be a part of that #1 model in the world. That's what I want. If students want it and they're willing to work hard, they'll be good students for the IB.
There's a question about the teaching material. Yeah, actually, there's so many parents asking, is there really no teaching material in IB school? Really?
When I read that question, I was like, I'm not sure where that ideology came from, because my budget says I'm buying materials every year, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not that we don't have materials. We do have resources that support those standards that are used through teaching. What we don't do is have, here's the math book and page 1 on day 1 and page 200 on day 200. Like, we don't follow a book. We use those books as resources to teach the content that the kids are expected to learn. So there are materials, there are resources that are used, but we don't prescribe to any one book.
Yeah, we don't. We have there's many books and digital resources, and those books, if they're print, they are available to students in the library. So those teacher companions, the student companions or workbooks, they are available in the library. But as Stacy says, we don't follow page 1, page 2, page 3 like that. We pull from various resources.
And lots of teacher-created materials, because with the IB, it's inquiry process. And so if there's a topic and a concept that teachers are trying to teach, and kids ask deeper thought-provoking questions, teachers have to be able to think quickly and have resources at their disposal. And so there's lots of teacher-created materials to answer and to help those kids find answers to their inquiry that aren't necessarily found in a textbook.
So in different schools, in different classrooms, the teaching materials is not the same. Right?
Not always the same, but
Not
the
always
content is the same.
Yeah.
The end result, right, our standards, teachers are teaching for the standards. How they get there is varied.
Yeah, so that's why the parents are asking about this question. They are worrying about if the with different teaching material, a different teacher, how can quality will be guaranteed?
Right. Well, so we do have certain markers. So we do follow the Common Core standards in the United States. So for math and for language, for example, there are certain standards that we need to get to every quarter, every semester, every year. And we do double check that that's happening in quality. We have MAP testing at the school and other markers that show us where we are.
What are the most common difficulties that the IB students will face?
The most common thing is students may be used to learning by memorization. And they'll memorize something and know how to then give that back to the teacher. In an IB school, we teach students to think, and that's the main difficulty. But once a student starts to think and critically think and analyze and give their own opinion, the world opens up. The learning just opens up so much.
Yeah. Sometimes not only the children are struggling on that, the parents.
And that goes back to your earlier question, right?
Yeah.
What do we need for parents? Is for parents to be open-minded and to support their students. I think for me as a parent, right, I feel my child's come up through the PYP. I could never now take him to a school that's not IB because of how he's learned, right? He understands questioning and inquiry. And if I were to put him into a program that was a real stringent national curriculum, he would struggle because he would be asking so many questions all the time. So when kids can transition earlier into the IB, it makes the transition through the MYP and the DP much easier for those kids than if they just enter the DP in grade 11.
Some students has like playing the instruments, artistic talent like that. You know, what kind of help will the students get if they are IB school students?
Well, the way our school is set up with the IB program, we allow students to explore performing arts and music, and for the younger kids in physical expression, as well as visual arts, all the way from when they're babies through grade 10. My kids are 4 and 2 years old, and they're involved in all of this, both visual arts and performing arts. After grade 10, in the diploma program, we offer visual arts. So if students like to paint and they're really at the level of inquiry and critical thinking to start researching about visual arts, they go into that class. If music is their thing, right now we do offer a band in grade 11 and 12 where they can, come together and play in a band 3 times a week, and they do small performances during the year. So IB programs do offer up to grade 10 exposure to the 2 big performing and visual arts. Then after that, it's more specialized.
Is it necessary for IB students to learn multiple languages?
That's a good question. It's one of the requirements from the IB that students are multilingual, and so they have their mother tongue language as well as the host country language, right? They're exposed to, and then oftentimes English as well, a third language. But it is important in IB schools for students to have that multilingual experience.
Yes, and our experience is English, definitely. Trying to get our students to have that English at a near native level. We have very much success with students going from no English up to then being able to read novels and write essays about the novels. So what the IB proposes is that the language of instruction for our school is English, and then we do offer another language, either a mother tongue language or an additional acquired language that students can then go ahead and see and study during the middle years and even in the diploma program. So we do have a varied language structure, but English is at the core of it.
Secondary school students in Chinese public education system, if they want to transfer to an IB system, is it a good way, or if there are any other maybe risk or like that?
I am a consultant for the IB, and I work with Chinese schools on becoming IB schools. And what I see with a student who was a secondary student in China wanting to transfer into the IB program is be confident with your math skills and be confident with knowing that you want to do the work, that you can work, yes? And then know that once you adapt to the IB culture and the IB way of life, or to APIS, you will be academically miles ahead of people who you've been going to school with before. In just 2 years, you can look back and speak with your friends who may be still in that Chinese system, and you'll see that not only do you have the content skills, but now you can go into environments and really debate through questioning, you can find out a lot more, and your preparation for university is top level.
In a DP or an IB school, you're ready to be a part of the world and contribute in that way. It's one of the traits that we look for in IB students.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the quick question. And
no problem. Thank you.